In this demo, I'll show you how RBAC works in Istio with our Hello World demo. First of all, I deleted all the pods and I basically started over with a new cluster to make sure that everything from the previous demos is gone. Let's then first go over the YAML files, the configuration. Let's have a look at Hello World RBAC enable.yaml. Here I enabled RBAC for our default namespace. So here we say on with inclusion of the default namespace. I also have to make sure that our mutual TLS is enabled. So I'll use the mesh policy to enable mutual TLS, and I'll create a destination rule to enable mutual TLS for all the namespaces. I also created this destination rule for the API server because the API server is not using mutual TLS. Then I have the Hello World RBAC.yaml, and this includes all the deployments and the services from the Hello World.yaml itself, plus I added also the service accounts that we need. So let's have a look at this. Hello World RBAC.yaml. This is the first service role. It's called the Hello Viewer, the one that I showed you in the overview in the previous lecture. So we will need this one for the ingress controller. So the ingress controller will be able to do a get and head on the Hello World service. Then we have the World Viewer. This is for the Hello service because the Hello service needs to be able to contact the World service. And then third, we have the World 2 Viewer. So we'll give this one to the World service because the World service needs to be able to access the World 2 service. Then we can do the service role bindings. So I explained to you that we need to bind these service roles to a subject, and this can be a service account or we can use properties. In this case, we're going to bind it using properties. We're going to say if the source namespace is Istio system, then we'll bind the Hello Viewer. So anything in Istio system has the service role Hello Viewer, and Hello Viewer can then access the Hello pod, the Hello service. Then we have a service role binding for the subject cluster local /ns for namespace. Namespace is default and the service account is hello. So we're going to create a service account hello, and that we will attach to the Hello service. And this needs access to the World Viewer, and the World Viewer can then access the World service. And then third, we have a service role binding, and this is the World user binding, and this will bind with the World service account. The World service account will be attached to the World pod, and then this one is unable to contact the World 2 service. So we attach it to the World 2 Viewer service role. So then we need to create these two service accounts. So we have a service account hello and a service account world. So here's the hello service account, here's the world service account. And then from here on, it's the Hello World YAML deployment, including a service account for the hello deployment and a service account for the world deployment. So this is exactly the same. I'm only using one replica though. So we have the hello deployment, and the hello deployment is going to use the hello service account name. So if you have another look, hello service account name is defined here. And then if you go up, then we see the service role binding for this subject service account hello, and this service account hello will be bound to the service role World Viewer. And if we go up again, then the World Viewer will have access to contact the World default SVC cluster local using get and head. So then we have this deployment for hello, we have a deployment, we have the service, we have deployment for world. Here we also have a service account, the world service account, and then we have a service for world, a deployment for world 2. World 2 doesn't have a service account because it doesn't need to contact anything. And then we have a service for world 2. So these are all the deployments, the services and the service accounts. And then we have the gateway, just like we had with the previous demos. We have a gateway and then we have a virtual service. This virtual service will make sure that we can access the hello RBAC example.com, and it will then set the destination on hello default SVC cluster local. Then we have a destination rule, which enables Istio mutual and make sure that we are getting the version 1. So that's it. That's a lot of YAML. Let's try to execute that. kubectl create hello world RBAC enable.yaml. This enables RBAC, and then we'll do, and then we'll use again istioctl to do a kube inject of the hello world RBAC.yaml. So this will inject the sidecars and then do the kubectl apply. You can find again all these commands in the README. This is then going to create our pods. So like I said, only one replica this time. And now if everything went fine, I should be able to contact our Istio ingress. Istio ingress is going to contact hello. Hello will contact world, and world will contact world 2. So the only difference now is that if I log into world 2, for example, I will not be able to contact hello. Whereas without RBAC, this is all possible because all services are open to each other. This is now running. So let's have a look at the service again. Let's do a curl. Host is hello RBAC example.com. So this gives us our hello world. So this is all working. The services can contact each other. Let's now try to log into one of the pods to see if we can contact one of the other services. So let's log in into world 2, for example. And let's use wget to contact the hello service. The hello service is running on 8080. And what do we get? Server returned an error. We got a forbidden. We only be able to access our services depending on how we set our rules. We cannot just access any service anymore. So even if I want to access world, it will not work. Even if I want to access world 2, it will not work. I can access my own local host, which will still work, 3 exclamation marks, but any other service I want to contact, that will not work. Let's try to log into our hello pod. Let's do wget on world, and we set a rule that hello can access world. So that works because the rule allowed us to do that. So world we were able to access, and world is able to access world 2. So then we still got world and 3 exclamation marks. So that works. But if you would like to contact world 2 directly, because we would just want to see the exclamation marks, that will not work. We get a forbidden. So this way we can shield our services. So we can use RBAC to set up service to service rules to limit access like that. And alternatively, you can also use end user to service, where you can limit the access to your services from the end user using JWT tokens. I don't show it in this demo, but here we only used the subject, namespace, and service account, but there are also properties that you can use to allow only authenticated users, for example. So this was again a long demo, a lot of moving parts. So for sure you should test this out yourself. And it's very error prone. So if something very small is wrong, it will obviously not work because it's access control. The access needs to be correct. Otherwise, you will just get these permission denied if it's not set up correctly. So test this out yourself and let me know in the Q&A if you have any issues with this.